It is the end of 2021. So actually, it is the last week of 2021. And what I want to do for just this short podcast is just go over and look at where we have been so far with schooling. So we have finished up a total now of 4 classes. So when we first started back in May, okay, the very first class that we took back in May 3rd, okay, that class was English composition. Started with that class. That was the awakening, if you will, of classes. I got an A in that class, quite easy for me. English writing has never been a challenge for me. Following that class is the one class I think so far that has changed the way that I view things. This class helped to open up my eyes. This was perspectives in social sciences. So I've taken some sociology classes before in other online courses that I've taken, but I had never taken a perspective in social sciences class. And so this class really helped to open my eyes to instill in me a healthy curiosity to not trust just what is being fed to me, but to then look behind what is the narrative that's trying to get me to understand. You had several videos. The teacher who taught this course was really engaging. So she was always inside of the class. And so far, this has been the one class that I have absolutely enjoyed. Obviously, I made an A in that class as well, but it was the one class that I was just like, oh, this is just an amazing class. Then we had Introduction to Scripting. My counselor, and she told me that there were 2 classes that were the most time consuming of the whole entire degree path. And I just remember telling her, like, okay, let's just get these out the way. Just give me both classes back to back. Introduction to Scripting takes a lot of work. One of them is because that is the first time you're going to deal with Books, which is the school's version of their interactive books. So that's the first time you're going to deal with that. The second thing is that class has a lot of work. So you have books that you have to finish. You have to write to students. So you have to post your post and then respond to 2 classmates. And you have quite a bit of reading. So it's just a very demanding course. So that is IT 140. Okay. So when you get to IT 140, that will be a demanding course. Right behind that, I then took the Intro to Structured Database Environment. That is, of course, DAD 220, which I've been talking to you guys quite extensively as I've built my podcasting out and just tried to remain consistent with making sure that content goes up. This is going to be one of those things that you're definitely going to end up having. Of everything that's going on, make sure that these courses, as you go through, just make sure that Intro to Structured Databases, I did get a B out of that class. That class is also very intensive. You're going to have a couple of posts. This one is not as post heavy as far as talking to other students and engaging in conversation. It's not really that type of class, but this is a class where there's a lot of going into databases, pulling information, retrieving that information, putting that information out. It's a lot of that. So just be aware as you're going through. So I've been in school since May. Okay, my first class was May 3rd, 2021, and you go to June 27th, 2021. And I have continued in the classes. Keep in mind, the classes are every 8 weeks. So I've been going to school since May, and this will now end up all of 2021. And I will start my next class. I believe our next classes start in another week. I'm going to look and check and see when our next class actually begins, because I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure when our next class begins. But I do believe that we have classes in a couple of weeks a week or so will get us into, we'll start getting into some different things. So we'll start getting into I think this one, I'm really not sure. I should actually figure that out. I'm just going through trying to figure out logging into the site to get in. So this one is IT 145. Okay, this is Foundations in App Development. Okay, and that class begins on January 3rd. So today is December 27th. Next Monday, that module begins. So we have the rest of this week off. So we had Christmas week off, and we had the week of what will be New Year's off. And then you start your next one, which is Monday. So that module will begin on Monday, and there's quite a few things there. But I just wanted to recap and go through the year, just looking back and giving my feedback on what I noticed from each one of the classes that I've taken. So now, as I continue forth in the upcoming time frame, I believe the way that my system is set out is kind of piece by piece, but we haven't really, me and my instructor haven't really talked yet about what we're planning to do outside of this one course. So she did do some suggestions of some courses, but as the courses go along, of course, I'll get you guys involved as usual. But so if I don't get a chance to talk to you, please enjoy your end of 2021. We will be going into 2022 as of, I believe it is Friday. Next week, no, it's Saturday. Saturday is New Year's Day. Friday is New Year's Eve, obviously. We will be making our time. So I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for allowing me to share with you a little bit of my journey going through this coursework. I will talk to you later.